Namaskar, friends. This is Karthik Pandit here again with my friend Dr. C.A. Chaitanya Shah. Welcome to our episode number 9. This episode is going to be focused on funding constraints for MSME and SMEs. Chaitanya, with his huge experience on financial management, especially for SMEs, is going to have a deep insight into the funding constraints that an SME owner or MSME owner faces. Everybody in the business wants to make money, and the money comes after money is invested. So here will be options for you, a brief view, a quick view on fundings that is available and the constraints that are there to get funds. It's not as if funds are not available. Funds are available. It's the approach that makes the difference. And perhaps there will be solutions here which will give an MSME indications, indicators, which will help raise funds quickly and efficiently. Over to Chaitanya.
Hi, Karthik, as you rightly summed up in the beginning, uh, MSMEs, as we keep on hearing and listening, uh, one of the biggest constraint which is talked about is regarding the funding constraint. They find it unable, or they find it very difficult to raise funds from different sources. And as they grow, the funding sourcing differs and keeps on changing from starting with own funds and going to the market at the ultimate level. In between different funds, either the debt or the equity kind of a thing has to keep on coming. Now, why they are not getting these funds?
Yeah.
That is
So let's go on to the slides, Chaitanya. Let me put up the
perfect,
slides.
perfect, perfect. See, as usual, what we are doing is we are highlighting in each of the episode the 5 key elements or 5 key factors relevant to that topic. Here we will deal with the funding constraints, why the MSMEs are unable to get the funds, and the major issues are dealt with. The first is the assessment of requirements and presentation. This is one of the most important. As Karthik said, in business, we are for making money. And for making money, we have to invest money. Now, investing money and making money both has a relationship, which we'll deal with in one of the forthcoming episodes. So it is very important that the assessment of requirements is properly done, whether it is for capital investment, which is for plant and machinery or other long-term investments, or whether it is in the working capital. And whatever way the growth of the business is planned. Now, this assessment of requirement is generally very scientific, has to be done in a scientific way, has to be evaluated in a scientific way, and then only the decision has to be taken for the purpose of investing money in the business.
Yeah. So,
Because,
if you
yeah,
look at some experiences that we have gained, Chaitanya, to start business, everybody is in a hurry to start the business. And even if the requirement is known, assuming that the requirement of the funding is known, somehow there is an approach, there is an attitude, especially in MSMEs, to not manage or not think of or not plan for the total requirements of funding for the project. Maybe there is a timing issue to it, but a telescopic view of requirement at various stages of the business and its growth would be a very important thing. If you delay that, or if you decide to delay the decision and to arrive at a exact number or a good number in terms of requirement of the funds, ultimately at mid path you seem to be faltering for lack of funds.
in fact, Karthik, in the same context, since we were generally having a limited time, you look at the various, startups which have run into difficulty. And classic case, which comes to my mind right away is Byju's. Now, they invested in a big way in the business. And same thing is happening with quite a number of it. And they keep on investing money. The funders, they keep on investing money without looking at whether it is going to be turning out a viable unit at the end of the day. And thereafter, there is suddenly a pressure on the promoters to have a constraint on the funding. Business is not making money. The losses are increasing year after year. then they suddenly start looking at different cost cutting measures, which are really killing the business.
Yeah, so the
And
red flag we would want to show is to be away as far as possible from the ho jayega approach.
no, Karthik, it's much beyond that. It is a very, very calculated effort to understand what is my requirement of the funds for the business and what kind of a income that business is going to generate, and whether it justifies that kind of a investment in the business or not. This is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because there are different options, which we will again pick up in one of the thing. Now, once you as a owner are convinced about the requirement and the return kind of a thing which it will generate, what will happen, you are also in a position to make an excellent presentation to the person who is going to fund you, whether he is a debt funder, a bank, or an institution, or there is somebody who is going to be investing in your money. Say maybe starting with somebody who is into angel funding kind of a thing, or private equity, or a venture capital, or something. Now they need to be convinced, and now their conviction will depend on your own conviction. If you are convinced, you are in a position to convince others. So that is the first part. Second is information of options. I have found that most of the entrepreneurs or the business owners, they are not even knowing what are the different options which are available for funding, whether it is debt or whether it is equity. And there are n number of options today. For example, now, say, for example, you are running crop, you have some opportunity which is coming up and you don't have the process of funding, debt funding may take some time. Now, there is a possibility. There are enough people, who are in the market today who are willing to finance you by way of an unsecured loan. Now, this is available by third or the fourth day. Maybe a little expensive, but it is available. So your opportunity, you can always hold on, ensure that that opportunity is availed, and then make the alternate arrangement maybe little later on. And if you are knowledgeable about all this, the people who are going to fund you, they will appreciate, and they will stand by you in whatever different types of situations are there. So information of options today, SIDBI is there. Now, banks, every bank has different MSME funding desk, which are going little out of the way. There is a Mudra loan which is there. Now the government has come out with unsecured loan. You don't have collateral. You don't have to have a collateral-free loans. All these different options are available. So this is what the owner himself should basically make some effort and try to understand all these options. Third, very important, is the financial credibility. If you see in the good old days, when we were studying in college and, our CA curriculum, we were told three C's to be the financial credibility. And the first one is the credibility of the owner. What is your past business track record? How you have done it? Second is your own capacity and your own credit worthiness with the funder. All these three, if they are in place, I have seen that people, banks understand, appreciate, and try to accommodate you considering your difficulties. So financial credibility, along with the first one, how you make a presentation, is very, very important for the borrower. And this is what has to be done. Fourth is just everything on paper is not enough. Your past business performance track record has to be very important. And generally, in my career, when I have been, handling the finance portfolio in different companies and for some of my clients, I have always believed, let the person who is funding you, you give him little conservative number, and always try to see that you surpass those numbers. If you are likely to make profit of 10, show 9, and see that you show 10, 10.5. This helps in increasing your credibility with the person from whom you are borrowing the money. Fifth is your execution capabilities. Every funder knows that it is not just you alone it's your entire organization, which is going to see that, whatever you are projecting by way of numbers, if that has to be realized, it is your entire execution system, including manpower, your plant facilities, your other infrastructure which is required. It has to be in place so that the person who is going to lend you will have a necessary confidence to see that, you just not only talk, but you have enough infrastructure to deliver what you have promised. So these are the five fundamental things, most critical, because as you rightly said in the beginning, Karthik, the situation is today quite a lot of people, particularly the banks, they have the funds, but to the best of my mind, they find it difficult to find the right borrowers. And
Yeah.
that is why they are holding back that decision of giving the loans or the credit facilities to the thing. If these five parameters are fulfilled, I am sure any person, any bank, or even a private funder, or a any of your non-banking institution, they will be willing to fund.
Yeah, so actually, you see, there is a big lesson out here, Chaitanya, if you like. And the lesson is that when you're looking for funding, you have two paths that you can take. One is you take a bullish path when you're talking about yourself, or the other is you take a rather a conservative path as far as your
Exactly.
projections are concerned. Our view at this episode is that it is advisable in the long run to go for a conservative approach and prove yourself through performance, through the service of your funding, through the service of your business, through the service of your
True.
whatever your business into. So a conservative path takes you on a longer good business proposition rather than an initial bullish plan which you are not able to meet in the future, because that's how the lenders, the bankers would want to see. And this is a tip which maybe you want to take it for yourself. Having said that,
Exactly.
Having said that, we come to the end of this episode. As usual, we say await for our next episode. Do subscribe to our channels. Comments are invited on a YouTube comment section. And if you decide to reach us, you can contact us at csshah01 at yahoo.co.in and Karthik Pandit at karthik.pandit@gmail.com.